Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Allie Wilkins. If you're coming back again, I'm so happy that you're here. And if it's your first time here, I'm so happy that you stumbled across my page. Just a little bit about me. I'm a seer, I'm an Akashic Oracle, and I also teach about ancient feminine wisdom and history and goddess lineage and all these different sorts of things. But today we're going to talk about twin flames. I've made another video about twins. I'll put it up in one of these corners here. I don't love talking about this subject just because I think people get really hooked into the cycles, but I wanted to make a video today about the difference between twin flame relationships and soulmate relationships because they're vastly different, but I see a lot of people mixing them up. And because of that, there's some like suffering created because they're trying to apply rules that would work with a soulmate to a twin flame relationship, and it's not going to work. They're two totally separate types of relationships, literally based in like different realms, you could say, and we'll talk about that in a minute. They don't operate in the same capacity. So I just see so many people, first of all, misunderstanding what a twin flame even is to begin with, because there's so much misinformation about what twin flames are and about how to approach it, that it's leaving people stuck in cycles with their twin for decades. Like the suffering, we don't need to go we don't need that. Okay, we don't need that. So I want to talk today about the difference between the two. Also, as a seer, I can spot almost immediately if someone has met their twin flame. I don't know what it is. It just, there's a knowing in me that I can see if you've met your twin flame very, very quickly. And I meet a lot of people, or I come across a lot of people that are saying they're in a twin flame relationship. And I'm like, your blueprint says you're not. Like, your blueprint says you haven't met your twin. And I'm not saying that as like, I'm right, they're wrong. That doesn't matter. I'm saying that because then people are applying a different modality almost to try to work in a certain context of a relationship, and it never works because they're labeling it wrong. So anyways, and I think that a lot of people also just talk a lot of shit about twin flames because they see their friends in these really tumultuous relationships that are actually just karmic relationships, like toxic karmic relationships, and they're calling it a twin flame. So then there's this bad rap given to twin flame relationships. People are like, oh, it's just a trauma bond, blah, blah, blah. And like, none of that is true. So I want to let's look at the difference between the two. If you want support in identifying, like, you know if someone is your twin, like, it doesn't matter what I say, right? But if you want support with this process, I have a session on my website called Divine Love Session, or some healing session, something like that. And we can talk about all this stuff, because first of all, if you are in a legit twin flame experience, no one can help you unless they've had a twin. I promise you, nothing you can read on the, like, please don't be watching tarot readings. Please don't just like get random information online, because so much of it is inaccurate and is going to keep you in this loop. So I created these sessions literally to help people, because I've spent thousands of hours studying this from a lot of different perspectives, and I can definitely help you in your own experience. I've come to a place in my experience of the most neutral I've ever been with it. And that's where you have to get, where you're not in these cycles of suffering anymore about it. It's just like, I trust God. I trust God. And thank you for coming into my life and teaching me these certain lessons. And I'm good, And it takes a long time with a twin to get to that place. It's much more difficult than with a soulmate partnership, because there's such a different type of bond there. So let's just start out talking about what some of the differences are, okay? So a twin relationship is an energetic relationship. It does not follow the same rules. It does not follow the same like system of conduct, if you will. It's otherworldly, and you cannot understand it on a mental level. You will never be able to logically understand it. Most of the time, your twin is going to be someone who's the complete opposite of you. And this is for a reason. So your soul incarnates. Here's your soul up here, okay? For the soul to come into our 3D realm, a world of duality, it has to polarize into two. So some people say masculine, feminine, inaccurate. Some people say positive, negative. That's just not good because it gives a certain bias of like one person's better than the other. So you could say the soul polarizes into person A and person B. Okay. So these two people are going to have the same soul frequency. So when you meet that person, you're going to be so addicted because you've never met anyone who shares your exact soul frequency. It's like, whoa, oh my God, this is so amazing. And it brings you into, normally we would call this a honeymoon period, like when you just meet someone and it's so great for a few months or for a few years. This is like a high, high, high. You're going to start experiencing most people are going to start experiencing a lot of energetic gifts. You're going to start experiencing astral experiences with them. Like it's going to be different than anybody you've ever met. But the thing is, so you have the same soul frequency, but your astral bodies are mirror images of each other. So they're the complete opposite, which means that the way you think is going to be completely opposite. Your trauma and your wounding is probably going to be really like inverted of each other. So that means that you're going to trigger each other, not just in like the vicinity, but you're going to trigger each other in like the specific coordinate of your wound. So it's really intense. Okay. And because this is an energetic experience, anything you know about romantic relationships and how to approach them will not apply. Like it doesn't matter. Anything that that is physically said doesn't matter. It's all energetic. And so what I'm saying about these sorts of relationships having trouble having longevity is because the frequency on the planet right now is not high enough to sustain that the high consciousness that is needed. And basically, in order to stay with your twin, you have to be able to be completely neutral 100% of the time. And if you work with me privately with this, I'll show you how when you're still in the cycles, when you come back to neutrality, your twin will run right back. It's like it literally is a magnetic experience. If you push, they're going to run away. If you step back, they're going to come to you. You can test this out and I can help you do this, but that's not the purpose. We want you to just come into neutrality, not like test this to see what happens, right? So a twin relationship is also going to be really, 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 really intense. It's going to be Band-Aid ripping. It's like, you know how they say just rip the Band-Aid off at once? This is going to happen with layers of your ego. And so when this happens with your ego, you're going to go into a dark night of the soul. And I have another video about that. I'll put it up in one of these two corners. I can never remember which one to point at, but you're going to go into a dark night of the soul because as the ego is stripped, parts of your personality or parts of the person that you think you are stripped away. And you're like, what is reality? What is life? Who am I? Like, you're going to experience a dark night of the soul. So that I made a video about that. So we can talk about that more there. You can put that up in another tab if you want to watch that. So this is intense. It is brutal. I want to highlight it's brutal on your identity because it's like you will never, it's like they're going to kill you over and over and over again. And it takes someone extremely strong to be able to survive that sort of experience. Like that's just, it kills you over and over again. And so you like, I don't want people to meet their twin unless they're ready for that. And honestly, I don't think you can meet your twin unless you are ready, but a soulmate has a very different frequency. Soulmates have longevity. And I'm talking about both of these having experienced both. And so I can tangibly feel the difference in both of them. And neither of them are better than the other. They have different purposes. Okay. So a twin is going to give you quick, fast, dirty growth and major, major, major transformation. It's also going to put you in a state of extremely high highs and extremely low lows. And this helps you to come. It's really the purpose of the twin is to bring you out of the system of duality and come into oneness. That is the actual purpose of a twin. And everyone who experiences that sort of relationship is going to take that to a different level. Your twin is your measure of your ascension process. That is it. That's it. Okay. They're not destined. You're not destined to be with your twin flame. There's a lot of stuff about, there's a lot of teachings that like, oh, the 144,000, you have a mission with your twin. The only mission that you actually have is for them to awaken you and for you to do the work from that point forward. Like, I am a different human because I met my twin and because he activated me in certain ways. However, I don't have a specific mission with him. Like, maybe if the frequency on the planet was way higher. So I'm not saying this eternally. I'm saying this like, if we lived in a golden age, I think we would all be with our twin flames. But I think because of the type of consciousness and because of some of the things that our souls have chosen to learn, it's just not something that you want to expect to be like a normal romantic relationship. Like, you're probably not going to marry your twin flame. You're probably not going to like, it's just not going to be the same as a romantic relationship. Okay. A soulmate is totally different. A soulmate, when you meet them, you're going to recognize, they're going to feel familiar. You're probably going to feel comfortable with them, but it's not going to have the like, you'll be excited. You might be in honeymoon period, but it's not going to be the extreme high that naturally has to come with an extreme low. It's going to be like, oh, I'm really excited. I met this great person, but nothing really more than that, you know? A soulmate does have longevity. They're going to stick around, and you can work with like the law of attraction. You can work with reason. You can work with logic to make things work with a soulmate. Like, if you're going through a rough patch or something, that stuff doesn't work with a twin. It's all about energy. In a soulmate relationship, it's sort of about energy, but it's also about the 3D and the physical world. Soulmate relationships, when you're growing in these spaces, it's going to be much more gentle. Now, anytime we're in a relationship with someone, relationships make us grow, right? Especially if you're someone, which I assume you guys are who are watching this, you're people who are really growth oriented and like want to be your best self. So anytime we're in a relationship, we're going to be triggered. There's going to be growing opportunities, learning opportunities, that sort of thing. But it's going to be a lot more gentle. It's going to be a lot more slow paced. It's not going to be the Band-Aid, rip it off. It's going to be more gentle. And so that makes it much easier on your nervous system, right? Like, I don't like some people do have more than one twin flame. I personally think that this is rare, but I've heard people say that you can have up to like 9 twin flames. I don't really know if I agree with that, but I don't want to find another twin flame. I'm like, soulmates are good. Soulmates are good because the type of growth that you're experiencing is much more, it's just more gentle on your system. And so many of us are doing so much work energetically and just, in our being. We're doing so much work growing and improving ourselves and doing the shadow work and all that stuff. And it's like the twin can just, first of all, your soul is the one organizing the whole thing. So it knows when you need to meet your twin. It's going to be at the perfect moment. And I just think like we get to be more, we need to understand what the real energy of a twin is. And a twin is the pathway. It's one route to your ascension. It's a very fast, rapid route. So you could consider this like a soulmate might be taking a like nice stroll around a mountain, and you get to the space behind the mountain like in a few weeks. The twin flame might be like walking up the highest point of the mountain, and you get to the other side of the mountain in like 3 days. So it's much more intense, much faster. You get to the same place, but it's going to take I take that back. You're not going to get to the same place. Your twin will take you places that no one else can take you because you have the same soul frequency. So you're going to feel so intimately comfortable with them that it's like you just go in so deep together so fast. And it also expands your understanding of reality because you're going to start playing with different energetic modalities. You're probably going to have telepathic communication. There's just more of an energetic response. So it like opens you and expands you energetically. A soulmate's not going to it doesn't really have anything to do with that. right? But for our physical 3D, like you might be in the eighth dimension, okay? But your body is physically here in the third dimension. And so what does your body need? So let me see if I missed anything. Oh, this one's important. So a twin you have an eternal connection with your twin. It does not matter what you do. It does not matter how many times you try to cut the cord. You cannot break the connection that you have with them, even if you didn't talk to them for 45 years. You still have an energetic connection with them, whether you want to or not. A soulmate, if you cut cords with them, you're not going to be energetically tied to them anymore. Your work is complete. The twin, that is just not the case. You can't break the connection, even if you want to. Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I wanted to share here. Let me just sit for a second and see if there's anything else that my guides want to share with me. Is there anything else that wants to come through about the difference between twin flames and soulmates? I'm just hearing like, don't make one better than the other. I think that the real issue with what people are getting confused about twins is thinking that your twin flame is better than a soulmate. And it's not. It's really just about what is it that you are requiring in this moment and your pathway of growth. Because I've grown immensely with, I feel like I've had 2 soulmate relationships, 1 twin relationship, and the 2 soulmates, like I grew so much with them. But the twin, it's like I feel like I grew like 10 lifetimes. Whereas the soulmates, it just feels like a lot slower growth, but still really important. And things that require like a slow burn, things that can't just be ripped off with a Band-Aid. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it there for today. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'm going to put the links for the other 2 videos I did about twin flames. The one just about the twin flame experience, and then the other is about the dark night of the soul. Please send these if you know someone who's in this experience. Like, there's just so much bad information. Like, send them these videos because I'm speaking the truth. The twin flame experience is not a romanticized new agey thing. This is something that has been talked about for thousands of years. This is not a new concept. And this is something too that I've studied a lot about Zen spiritualism, directly connected to the twin flame experience. And I've also studied the scientific understanding of this from like the quantum physics realm. So, or the quantum physics perspective of this. So if you want help, please book this Divine Love session. I have this. It's a little bit less expensive than my Akashic record readings. You can choose either one. The Divine Love session, we're basically it's more of a mentorship call, so I can see where you might be getting stuck in the process, and I'll help you pinpoint that so that you get out of the cycle of the twin. Because trust me, people cycle with their twin for 30 years. You do not need that in your life. Get the lessons, do the work for your ascension and move forward. An Akashic record reading, we're going to go deep into your soul blueprint and see what's present there. You can ask questions about your twin flame to help understand the connection between the 2 of you, but I'm not going to go into things that are going to keep you cycling. I will reveal things to you that will be helpful for you to be able to understand the ascension pathway. And that might be some things in connection to them, but it's mostly going to be about you. So you can choose what you prefer there. For the month, you might be watching this way later. For the month of May, it's May 2023 right now, I'm doing a 25% off sale. This is just for the Akashic records. You can use the coupon code thank you in all caps. You can book an Akashic record reading for 25% off with that coupon code. And yeah, let me know what questions you have. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any of your own comments or anything that you want to add, please let me know in the comments below. You can feel free to add that. And yeah, send this to a friend if you feel like it would benefit them, and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. That's it, I promise. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on next week's video. Bye.